with another video coming off the All-Star race, which we had a good result. Christopher Bell was on the final card. He ended up winning that thing. We also had Byron, who was stout as well. So solid result. I didn't bet a ton, so I didn't win a ton. I feel like with the gimmicks that is the All Star race, that crazy caution flag by Michael Waltrip, followed by the fireworks, like too corny for me. It's just not serious enough. And it was a great race. Don't get me wrong, but the event itself is just, the outcome can be hindered and be fixed, if you will, by so many different variables and elements, including that caution. And that was Joey Logano's race, quite frankly. So we caught a nice break. I will say, though, Bell was catching him on that final run before the phantom caution, or the promoter's caution, rather. Bell had a good car and all that. So I would say he had the second best car. We hit that bet. Again, nothing big, but nice momentum going into the week that is the greatest weekend in motorsports. We've got Monaco Formula One in the morning. Then we've got the Indianapolis 500, which Kyle Larson will be a part of, attempting that double for the second straight year. That was, rudely interrupted by weather, which is something that I might talk about. And then, of course, we've got one of, I would say, top three for me on the schedule. I love the Coke 600. I think it is a great watch, and for so many different reasons. Obviously, the 600 miles, Charlotte Motor Speedway has always puts on a great product. Even when in the Gen 6 car, Charlotte always seemed to put on a solid race. Next gen car at Charlotte has proven to be a lot of fun to watch. And again, like the 600 miles is epic for it to be a crown jewel. But also on top of that, the fact that you get Monday off, right? So you can sit there on that evening, afternoon, into the night, all just racing all day and not have to worry about work the next day. I love, love, love the Coke 600. Some weather could get in the way of both the Indianapolis 500 and the Coke 600. I've been checking. It's kind of going back and forth on both those races. So definitely, from a betting standpoint, keep that in mind. Definitely keep that in mind because, again, we ran a shortened race last year. Christopher Bell won. He was not the best car, but because of the outcome there, we ran it short. And sure enough, Bell ended up winning that thing. And not much chaos, not much havoc, which oftentimes in this Coke 600 you do see. So that's kind of why I'm leaning certain ways with some of my bets. But without further ado, let's get into my bets for the greatest weekend in motorsports. But we're just talking Coke 600, the number one guy that I'm targeting. Well, actually, honestly, I really like all these guys. But let's start with a guy that I'm super high on, William Byron. He has a 2.7 average starting position here in his three races in the next gen. Let me repeat that. He has a 2.7 average starting position in three races. He's led 141 laps here in the next gen era. And in these races, he's got two top fives. I think his other result was a DNF, but he's got two top fives. His 105 driver rating is only second behind Christopher Bell, which just shows you how dominant he's been running in the top five, logging quality lap times. If you look at his career, he's second in active drivers in driver rating on this track. And that, accounts for all the races William Byron has ran in the Cup Series at Charlotte. He is a stout performer on this racetrack, really on the style of racing, which we know, meaning the conventional mile and a half, if you will. But he is elite at this track. He's one you want to target for a money line, target him for a top three, for a top five. He is, if he runs a clean race, which I assume he will, he's going to be up there at the end of this thing, and have a shot to win. So I love, love, love William Byron here. I think he's going to qualify well. He'll have a good starting spot, good pit selection and pit stall. and a guy that just doesn't really make a lot of mistakes, and that is right in the wheelhouse of William Byron here for the Coke 600. So I love him. I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick as well. This is your leader in driver rating among active drivers at this track in the Cup Series. So I mentioned Byron being two in his career here at Charlotte. Tyler Reddick would be one in active drivers. You take the speed ranking for Tyler Reddick, according to iFantasy Race, who I always like to shout out here. He's at a top three car based on total speed in two out of the three next gen races here at Charlotte. I have not been impressed by Tyler Reddick this year, but I will say this is a place where he can heat up, and I think get some good momentum coming to a track where he's had really good success at. He hasn't been like bad. He's been very consistent. He's got no DNFs on the year, so he's logging points. He's sixth in total points, but only four top tens and three top fives. Four top tens is tied with his teammate Bubba Wallace, tied with Ryan Preece. Um, it's behind Ross Chastain and Chase Briscoe, guys that have not really had great seasons. By their standards, he's tied with John Hunter Nemechek and Kyle Busch. So again, Tyler Reddick overall, he hasn't been his top form, but at the same time, he has shown flashes. He was great at the road course earlier this season. He's shown flashes at some of these mile and a halves. But like I said, I put that aside. I take what I can gather by the data and the statistics, and Tyler Reddick is elite at Charlotte in the next gen era and really throughout his career. Was good here in the Xfinity Series as well. So he's logged plenty of laps. He's led plenty of laps. And I think he's going to be a good pick this weekend. Tyler Reddick is second on my card. Let's move to the guy that I'm going to continue to bet. And I've said it, I'm going to continue to bet this driver until until he wins. And then I'm gonna be like, all right, I'll give it up for a little bit. But Ryan Blaney's led the most laps at Charlotte in the next gen era. He's had two DNFs out of the three races. So you take those results and put them aside. But even with those, he's had a top five car in both those races. I cannot get over how good Ryan Blaney has been at every single racetrack we go to. He is a top 3 to 5 car. I'm going to continue to bet Ryan Blaney until he wins. He is oh so close. He's oh so close. But to me, if this race, goes deep and has a restart and he's up front, I like Blaney. He's an aggressive restarter. He can make up position. If this race runs along, and has a long run, Ryan Blaney has had the best long run car in the Cup Series now for, I'd say, the past 2.5 to 3 years at this point. And he's won here. He's won here, right? The good solid result he had was a win in the Coke 600. Ryan Blaney is so due. He's had such a just an unlucky group of races that have just not allowed him to finish in most races where his team and that car belong, and that's really on the podium for most these races. This is a top 3 car every single place we go, rather. So Ryan Blaney to me is a guy that you have to have on your card because of the track history. He's obviously got a win here, and just the multiple ways that this race could go all play into Ryan Blaney's strong suit, in my opinion. I still worry with the, just unlucky kind of things that have gone wrong for Ryan Blaney. Sometimes that's just hard to shake, quite frankly. But it doesn't seem like he's lost any bit of confidence. He was great in the All-Star race, and just again, he was great at Kansas as well. He is right there, so you got to bet Ryan Blaney, in my opinion. Two other guys that I just feel like could spoil the show. One, Christopher Bell. He's been exceptional here. I mentioned in the driver rating category when you look at Charlotte in the next gen era. Christopher Bell is number one. Now, he wasn't the most deserving driver to win the race last year, in my opinion. Yeah, he obviously led a lot of laps, but I think if that goes, to the finish last year, I don't really know if Christopher Bell wins that race. Don't get me wrong, he was great in that race. He's great at a lot of tracks. He's got a confidence at an all-time high with the 3 wins already in the All-Star race. He's $1 million richer. So I see that Christopher Bell can steal the show. So if you have him on your card, I don't fault you. I'm wearing the guy's shirt for heaven's sake. But I just think overall, I just feel a little bit more confident in William Byron and Ryan Blaney, quite frankly. Christopher Bell kind of was a little quiet post those early 3 wins, kind of went a little quiet, went a little under the radar, still was getting solid results, but it didn't seem like he had the winning speed up until Kansas again, where he had a really, really good car and then obviously had a great car at a short flat, but that's nothing new. So again, I like Bell in this spot. If you're going to bet him, I don't blame you. He might be on my final card, but I just think William Byron's due for Coke 600. Tyler Reddick's due for Coke 600. Ryan Blaney's due for a damn good result. So I like those three a little bit better than Bell this weekend, even though, as I'm saying that, he is number one in driver rating at this track in the next gen era. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling to me. But again, he very well could be on my final card. And the other guy that I think could steal the show is Chase Elliott. The car that he had at Kansas was a really, really good car, an exceptional car, a long run car that had the best, was challenging for everything with Kyle Larson. If not for cautions or stage cautions rather, Chase Elliott takes the lead at the end of the second stage. And I think he just sails off because that car was handling great in that long run. I think they take a similar car to Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte, Kansas, very similar tracks, conventional 1.5 mile tracks. So Chase Elliott, to me, if they can find it with that car, tweak it a little bit, I mean, Chase Elliott can absolutely steal the show. And I think it would be a fitting win for him to get, his first really solid result in a very long time to win a crown jewel like the Coke 600. So 2 names that I think can spoil the show is Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell. Absolutely. Let's go to top tens. Chris Buescher, top 10. Todd Gilliland, top 10. We'll start with Buescher. He's probably going to be right around even money. The odds haven't released for top tens, but he's been spectacular at the 1.5 miles. Had a great car at Kansas, qualified well, and just won DNF on the year. He's had some unlucky results where, again, had a fast car, had a good result going, and then one or the other, things go wrong, and he doesn't get that result. But a very clean race car driver, one that avoids the chaos, avoids the havocs in the wrecks at the end. So Chris Buescher, to me, you take a long race like the Coke 600, you like to find a clean, fast driver. That's Chris Buescher for a top 10. I like that bet. Again, it'll probably be right around even money. And if he brings that Kansas car, might have to tweak a little bit with the penalty, but if they bring a car like that, he's going to have top 10 speed easily, as he did throughout the duration of that race at Kansas. And Todd Gilliland for a top 10. I don't know what that number is going to be. If I had to guess, it's probably around plus 450 to 500. 14th at Darlington, 11th at Texas, 12th at Kansas. Knocking on the door. And for, a guy that has had some, how do I say this? Some trials and tribulations, I guess. Rookie year has a solid rookie year with Front Row, and then has to go through that split time with Front Row and Rick Ware Racing, and then finally it seems like Front Row says, "Hey, here are the keys to our franchise. We want you to be that leader, building around with Gregson and Zane Smith, but they kind of gave the keys to Todd Gilliland, and he's had a solid year. 0 DNFs, again, some solid results at mile and a half, been very, very clean. It's a key for this racetrack in this event. You got to go 600 miles, okay? You got to be clean. You can't have a lot of mistakes. This team has not made a lot of mistakes. And he's been good here in trucks as well. He had a top 5 and 2 top 10s in the truck series in 3 Charlotte races. So the guy can definitely race here. I think he's going to be right there. Also finished 16th in his rookie year here. I mean, that's a really good result when he was driving that was 2022. He was in this event, finished 16th, also finished 17th here last year, but that was in the 38 front row, like in 2022 when they were not very good. So he's had solid results. And again, just you look for the guys that can just run solid, run around top 15 for most of the night, which I think is what Todd Gilliland will do. And when this race gets crazy, and if it goes 600 miles, it will, a guy like Todd Gilliland can make up those spots late as other people have a lot of problems. And that team, again, doesn't seem to have problems from what we've seen in the season so far. So I like those 2 guys for top 10s a lot. I also like RFK in general. I think if you want to place a winning team bet, I would look at RFK. I talked about Buescher having the good car at Kansas. Preece had a great car at Kansas. Preece has also been shockingly pretty decent at Charlotte. And then Brad Keselowski is another guy that, maybe he had the best car at Kansas. And again, if they match that setup, I mean, you're looking at a really fast car for Brad Keselowski. The thing is, I mean, you don't want a guy that has a lot of DNFs. And Brad Keselowski, I believe, leads the series in DNFs, if I'm not mistaken. He's got 5 DNFs, which is only above Blaney and Bubba Wallace for 4. They have 4. So, 5 DNFs for Brad Keselowski scares me, quite frankly. He's got no top 10s, no top 5s. He's been abysmal, but he had a really fast car at Kansas that looked stout, that looked like it could compete for the win. I think if they bring a car like that for Brad to this racetrack, I say just let him go for it. And it would be so Brad Keselowski to just win the Coke 600 out of like left field after an abysmal season. Like that seems like a Brad Keselowski thing to do, quite frankly, at this stage in his career. So I like RFK, Buescher, Brad. Again, Preece had a really, really stout and fast car at Kansas. I think they're worth taking a flyer on if they're probably around, let's say, the 12 to 13 to 1 number. You get 3 drivers who assuming should all be around top 12 speed cars, in my opinion. So there's the full card. Byron Reddick Blaney as the outrights, possibly with some action on Elliott and Bell. Buescher top 10, Gilliland top 10, and a winning team bet for RFK. As always, final card, Action Network. Final card at JOTT_podcast on X. That's where you can find the final card. Want to know what you guys think? Put your bets, your thoughts, your excitement for the greatest weekend in motorsports in the comment section below. Give this video a like. It goes a long way for the channel. And subscribe for more great motorsports betting content, general content, you name it, we'll do it. Put in the comment section what you want to see, and I'll try to make a video on it best I can. Excited for the Coke 600, cannot wait. Hope you guys tune in. It's on Prime this week. Remember that. I think they're giving out like a free Prime subscription 1 month to take advantage of that. And with that, let's go win some money.